Okay, context for this video, because I know it seems a bit out of left field for this channel. For the past month, I've been watching Bleach-related videos. I don't really know anything about the series, but whatever. This channel I watch daily, though, Tekking, he's known for One Piece videos. But before he was doing One Piece videos, he was known for Bleach instead. And one video I saw by him was the Zero Squad, the biggest disappointment from Bleach. Pretty good video, and what he was talking about was something that reminded me of something similar from the Sonic Archie comics, and hardcore Sonic fans might know about this. The Secret Freedom Fighters. Remember these guys? Well, if not, I'll teach you all about them. Though I am not alone on this, because I have a friend with me this time around. She was with me during the Change Your Mind episode review, and has been drawing a number of things for me, that being CripplingFrog. Introduce yourself.
Hello, it's your boy, CripplingFrog, and we're doing Sonic today. Don't know anything about it, but let's go.
Yeah, well, what do you know about Sonic so far? What's your history about it?
I know that my brother used to play the games. I had to watch, and I had to just sit there, but I did watch the really, really old cartoons, and all I remember is that Sonic sure does like his chili dogs.
Oh, which old cartoons? Because I know there's
a lot.
Yeah, there's 4.
It was it was really old. It was on like tape, I believe. Like my grandpa would just shove it in, and he's like, "Go, okay, just watch it," and I'm like, "Okay," and that's pretty much all I remember. And Tails apparently was my favorite.
That might be Sonic Sat AM, which I know a lot of people like, and if I remember right, that's mostly what the comics are based off of. So that's interesting. So yeah, for those who don't know, I will be talking about the Secret Freedom Fighters. For those who don't know how this basically goes, for those who haven't seen my other Sonic comic video that I did a couple of months back, I did say that there were a couple of things from the series that I did like. And why I mostly read it is because, well, one, I was already, a Sonic fan to begin with, and me hearing the ideas like, oh, they have a comic book? Dude, that's so cool, I gotta read them all and everything. And, it was just like, wow, I just like these stories because they're so stupid and ridiculous. And it's just more of that, like, I want to see how ridiculous the stories can get, because they're just kind of funny when I tell people who don't know anything about them. Like you, for instance. But, this one story, for instance, it's not in the category of being dumb, but funny, like something I can poke at. It's just more of that, like, it's dumb and bad, and it just makes me upset, especially as a fan. So, alright, so what do you think of the picture that I sent you? Because those are the main characters that we're dealing with within this story. Because how it also goes again is that you got the main issues, so the actual Sonic Archie comics, and then side issues known as Sonic Universe. They all come in part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. It's all in 4 parts and everything, and they're basically side stories that affect the main story, and this was one of the bigger ones, and I'll get to that in a bit. So, what do you think of the main characters that we're dealing with here, of this one? What do you think of their appearance?
Alright, so, my first question was, is this fan art? Or, like, who the hell are these characters? And so, I was looking at them more in detail. I'm looking at the top one, not the one in white, but, like, the top one with, like, the portal from, like, Rick and Morty looking at it. Like, is that Sonic? Is that like an evil Sonic? And is that fucking Amy with the new dread haircut? I don't know. These characters look a little funky and a little off from the normal style they have, but it's good art.
Yeah, I don't remember who drew that. Yeah, that is official art. It's just that someone did color, because I remember it being in black and white and stuff. Because also now I'm remembering, some of my very first videos that I did was like covering this. And you know what's even funnier? Because I was thinking about, like, alright, I really want to do this video. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I want to do it. And I was looking back at those specific videos, and in the description, it had me actually say, oh boy, the Secret Freedom Fighters look really cool. Can't wait. Man, what a fool I was years ago. Crazy. But, don't worry, I'll go over all the characters and everything like that. And what the story basically is, and why they were just, just a big disappointment. They weren't terrible, like, bad as in, like, yeah, I hate this, I can't read it. It's just that everything about it just didn't add up for me. Alright, so the Rick and Morty portal dude. Alright, so how this basically goes. His name is Shard, and just keep going with me on this. It just makes sense, and this is why I wanted you for it, because I know you know nothing about this, and it's just gonna be funny to hear your reaction. Alright, and each one of these kind of do have, like, different stories. And I can't wait to get to the bottom one, because he's the best. So you got Shard here. He's basically Metal Sonic. You know Metal Sonic, right?
Kind of more or less.
Yeah, he's basically just, robotic Sonic that's just built to beat Sonic. Nothing really fancy and anything like that. But this one,
Sure.
in the comics, of course Eggman's just going to keep building them over and over and over because Sonic keeps kicking his ass. This one, however, this one specific one, kind of actually had, like, character and personality into it. And because of that, he was, really trying to outbest Sonic, like, any way that he can. Ironically, though, he became a little bit too much like Sonic and ended up, like, saving the day in a way. He actually ended up saving Tails and stuff. So yeah, but they ended up finding his old wreck body and they rebuilt him and he became Shard. And he's actually pretty cool. Like, he's not terrible or anything. So that's who he is. Then a little bit lower down, no, that is not Amy with dreads. Those are two completely different characters. I don't know who's who because they're twins. That's the point of them. I just call them the Wolf Twins because that's what they are. It's Lita and Loco. I don't honestly remember the names, so we're sticking to Wolf Twins so far. When it comes to the Sonic comics, Sonic has, like, his batch of friends. They're called the Freedom Fighters. It's more or less revealed that, like, around the world there are other Freedom Fighters, and these two, the Wolf Twins, are part of the Wolf Pack Freedom Fighters. Nothing really fancy. They're just, like, really cool twins that just kind of kick ass because they can. All right, now the dude in the red, he's a little bit interesting because he's a former king. Because
King?
yeah, he's a king. Because what's happening in the story, like where this story is taking place for these issues, is that in the main story, to cut it short as much as possible, everything was just gone to shit, and I mean terrible. Like, the city that Sonic and his friends were living in got invaded and destroyed twice within the same day, and everything was just, like, in absolute havoc. And this dude, his name's Elias. He's a brother to one of the other main characters, Sally Acorn. He's royalty, and he ends up being king. He's, not that old, actually. But what ended up happening is that there's this other villain, not as big as Eggman, but, his name is Nagas, and by this point, he's not even really a villain. He's just kind of a dude that's just, like, in the wrong place, and everyone just wants him to leave. It's just like, dude, get out of here, please leave. But he's not, and the whole point of, like, this issue, this saga, is that the villain, Nagas, is that he's getting a lot of political power. He really knows how to work a crowd and everything. Like, he just has the people on his side saying, like, hey, I have magical powers, I can protect the city and everything. And that's kind of what ends up happening, and Elias kind of gets, like, dethroned in a sense. And he's like, man, this is some bullshit, dude. Like, I hate this so much. So that's what ends up happening to him. And the dude in the yellow, his name is Larry Lynx, and he's literally a gag character. He was introduced very early on in the story to where, like, the stories themselves for the Sonic issues, like, they just kind of did whatever they want. They were just whatever. Larry, his whole gimmick is that he can stand in one place or just exist, basically. Things will happen without even making any sense. So, for example, if you stand next to him, you look down at your shoes. They're tied. You take a step, you trip over your own shoelaces. Why? Because now your shoes are untied. Just because it just happened. So he basically just causes jinxes to happen. That's the whole point of him.
That's weird. I like him.
Yeah, he's basically just like, he does whatever he wants. And no, he has no control over the jinxes or the chaos or what happens around him. It just happens with no explanation.
Yeah. Who's this Danny Phantom looking ass over here?
Alright, so Danny Phantom here. He's Silver the Hedgehog. He does actually come from the games and everything, and he's basically Trunks from Dragon Ball Z. And that's not really a joke either. He's from the future, goes back to the past to try and save the future. The end. And that's basically the same thing with him in the comics. Only difference is that in the games, he only goes back to the past once, and that's about it. In the comics, he keeps bouncing back and forth between the past and future, because he keeps getting shit wrong. And that's just kind of funny. But this time, he gets stuck. and then he gets up in this situation.
Ooh.
And that's pretty much where we are with the characters. Why do I find them to be the biggest disappointment? Because, everything I said about them sounds pretty cool. So put this in my perspective so far. My perspective was that when I was reading this when I was really younger, is that, you get this ragtag team of characters that you would never think that would interact whatsoever. And it's really cool because these people, they're all around, like, the world, basically. And it's just really cool. And the bigger thing is that in the main story, nearly for like 10 issues or so, they were really trying to hype up this group as much as possible. Because, like, what was happening as well is that Eggman was basically flying around the world and leaving chaos where he left, and Sonic was basically following him, trying to clean it up and stuff. And then, for example, when they get to where the Wolf Twins were, they were like, oh dang, the Wolf Twins, they got called in for a secret mission, and it's just like, down below, want to find out what happens? Well, read the Secret Freedom Fighters, like, alright dude, like, I'm hyped and everything, like, I'm ready to read this shit. And it just keeps going on, and, for me, this was still when I was collecting them physically. I could have read them online, but I stopped myself from that, and I was like, alright, I just really want to get it, because it got delayed, like, a week in my town to, like, physically get it. I was like, god damn it, I want to read this stuff, it's gonna be cool and everything, you got this secret team, because their whole point is that they're trying to undermine what that main villain is doing, Nagus. They're trying to stop him from getting more political power and everything like that. So they got to do it in secrecy. Like, no one knows what this team is about. And the whole point is that, like, this is the team that is going to fix up the mess that's happened from these past, like, 20 issues. They're going to save the day without people knowing. They're going to do what Sonic can. Like, just think about that. These are the true heroes. And what they do, basically, just, it fails. Because in the first issue, they set off into two teams, because there's 6 of them.
Right.
You get the first team, so you get Danny Phantom, Rick and Morty Portal, and Larry. They work together, and they find this one other character. His name's Jeffrey St. John. And cut it short, Jeffrey St. John, he's a very controversial character, because he's kind of an asshole, and not even, like, a likable asshole, kind of like what Sonic is and everything. He really does just kind of pick fights because he's got nothing better to do. But then as the series just went on, he kind of chilled out, and he was kind of a cool character. He just kind of worked for the Royal Guard and everything. But then he came back, and it's like, oh, he was a traitor this whole time and everything. And it's like, oh, okay. And he just happens to work for this main villain now, so... Alright, that's cool. But, their job is like, alright, we gotta capture St. John. And then they fail. Like, just within one issue, they let him get away. They're trying to sneak up on this dude who's doing one thing, and then they let him get away. And, I mean, that's like kind of, I don't know, another thing I probably didn't like about this series is that, at this point in the series is that, yeah, I say Jeffrey's, a controversial character. Nobody really likes him. Honestly, they kind of don't. I'm fine with him. He's whatever, because I will give him credit is that he's, like, actually one of the few characters that can fight Sonic 1v1. So that's fine. Not many characters can do that. So he's got his credit there. I don't know what they were doing for, like, these past 20 issues, because they basically just made him into, like, this Gafugu prodigy that you just never seen, that can just fight anybody, anywhere. And it was just crazy. Which is how he basically escaped. So, that's issue 1. And mind you, when it comes to these powers, Metal Sonic, he can basically do what a robot can do. Anything that you can imagine, he can do it. Larry Lynx, he's a walking anomaly. Just think about that. And then Silver, he has psychokinesis. So telekinesis, basically. All Silver needs to do, like, the joke about Silver is that, like, as long as he's in eyesight as you, you're not gonna move. Like, he can do that. That's the whole point of him. And they let one dude get away. That's issue 1, and I thought, okay, no, that's fine. Still got 3 other issues, because, it's always in a pack of 4. You get the second team. You got Elias and the Wolf Twins, and their job is to, like, they're gonna spy on Nagus. Because Nagus, he's like this wizard or whatever, or master of elements, I don't fucking care. Recently, though, within these issues, he was becoming ill or sick, and he just had no real control over his powers or body anymore. And he was kind of, like, dying or decaying in a way. And I can understand why, this team would have trouble, because Nagas is a little bit more unpredictable, and they don't exactly have any other powers by themselves, so that makes sense. So all they have to do is just spy on Nagas, right?
Hmm.
They fail again. They fail
Oh,
once more, they get caught, and then Nagas chases them out of, like, these tunnels that are underground, and then they fall into a hole. That's basically it. It's kind of cool, seeing Elias do this thing, former king, trying to be sneaky and everything, but, it just doesn't work. And, like, one of the wolf twins gets caught, and it's like, that doesn't work, because, these two, like, they can literally kick ass any day of the week, and they just fucking fail. That's issue 2, like, we're halfway there, and I'm thinking, okay, we gotta pick this up somehow. We really gotta pick this up, because you got both teams that failed, because even in this third issue, like, their boss that set this all up, who set this whole team up under, like, crunch time, basically, and was the reason, like, oh, you want to find out what happens? Read the saga, it's gonna be really good, they're gonna figure it all out.
no, they won't.
They
No way.
won't, because even their boss calls them out on this, saying, like, how in the belligerent fuck did you let one dude escape? You can move mountains with your mind, Silver. You're a Metal Sonic that can fight anyone if you wanted to. And then you, Larry, like, you're just a literal phenomenon. Like, you existing just breaks everything. Literally. So how did one dude escape? It was like, alright, whatever. You three, go pick up your other teammates at the bottom of that hole. Get back up here so we can come up with another plan. And they do that, and their other plan was like, okay, what if we capture St. John again? It's like, you want to try and fail again? But Silver honestly had the smart idea of like, wait, let's just be direct with him. Because I can tell that, Jeffrey by this point, he's kind of on crippling depression by this point. And he has no idea what he wants to do. And yeah, Jeffrey lets that happen. He doesn't mind. And he basically just tells him like, alright, yeah, this is what Nagas is basically gonna be doing, and that's as much as I can help you. If I have to fight you, I'll fight you, but it's too late for me. I can't exactly switch sides. And so it's basically just them getting ready for the final fight. It's like, alright, this is it, this is the final fight. And it's okay at best. I mean, it's basically just Silver and Shard kind of kicking the crap out of Nagas. That's fine. Then you got this like another thing with Jeffrey being like this fighting prodigy somehow all out of nowhere, because he's 1v3ing the Wolf Twins and Elias with like no problem. Like he's actually having fun with it basically. He's like, hey, that was not a bad trick. I thought I taught you that. I was like, this is our fight? Like, are you kidding me? And then Larry Lynx, he's just kind of like screwing with the council, and then that's about it. Yeah, they kind of win. Nagas doesn't get what he wants, but then they have like this speech by the end saying like, it's a hard day's work because, we can't go back to our families and take off our coats or anything like that. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. This is dumb. And what made it worse is that during this whole thing, like the story in general, the reason why Silver keeps coming back to the past, I can say as well, is that he's trying to find this quote-unquote traitor within the original Freedom Fighters. So 4 people. He gets it wrong 3 times. That's why he keeps coming back to the past and keeps screwing up. And then his final answer is like, his boss pretty much tells him like, don't worry, I figured it out for you and everything. And who it was doesn't make any sense, because the way they use traitor in this series, logistically it doesn't work, because the character was, as they call, roboticized. Basically turned into a robot. She has no free will of what she's doing whatsoever. That's not the definition of a traitor. Like, a traitor would be someone who's willingly ready to give all of that up and saying like, yeah, I'm purposely going to do this, like what Jeffrey was. And then he kind of saved the day by the end of it. He was becoming better by the end of it, but who they labeled as traitor, that's not how that word works, and it just pissed me off. So overall, the Secret Freedom Fighters, they were just bad at what they did, because they're called secret, and they do espionage basically, or well, the song is called Secret Freedom, but whatever. And it's basically just like fuck up after fuck up after fuck up after fuck up, and then by the end of it, they give like one big thumbs up, saying like, I call this an absolute win by the end of it. And it's like, no, it's not, because it's just terrible. And not only that, what makes this worse is that they don't do anything as a team ever again. They just don't. The only character who really gets anything out of all of this is Shard. But it doesn't really matter because he gets like freaking busted and disassembled like 6 issues later. So this is what I didn't like about Secret Freedom. They hyped it up so much, as in like, dude, this is the team that's going to save everything. And now that I remember it, they did make a cameo in the main series. But what I didn't like about that is that, again, they're called Secret Freedom. They're supposed to be stealthy like a ninja. All of their outfits are black. You know what cameo they had in the main series? They're like in broad daylight fighting enemies on top of rooftops in the middle of the field where people can see them. What the heck? That's so dumb.
Just a lazy like heart on the artists and like the directors, like that's just so lazy. I think that they just wanted the revenue and like the money of it, they hype it up and then you get it. It's just shit, it was kind of like the Emoji Movie and maybe Wreck-It Ralph 2. Like they hype it up to the point where it's just super, super bland whenever you see it. It's just disgusting. For the record, I never watched the Emoji Movie, and I'm glad I didn't. Just, ugh.
I don't think it has really anything to do with like the writer saying like, oh yeah, this is just a quick, easy cash. It's just that this idea had a lot of potential, and like the way they do it just doesn't really work, because the victories they get throughout these issues, they're so minuscule. Because yeah, in the first issue they let the guy get away, but then they trying to give up like a crooked thumbs up, saying like, oh, but at least we put a tracker on his board so he didn't get away. Like, dude, who cares? Like, you could have caught him easily. We know you could have, and you just let him get away.
Right.
It's so dumb. And it's, again, they really tried to hype him up through the main series. I'm like, dude, this is gonna be awesome. And it's just like, when I finally read it, and years on look back of this, it's just like, maybe this wasn't as good as I thought. And compared to all the other universe stories, this is probably the worst one, at least before the Universal Reset, which is pretty much the main reason why they don't do anything as like a team ever again, because this was only like, I don't know, half a year away before they were really starting to get into the reset for the series. And that's when I really didn't care for the series anymore, because this is, this was like 2 months before I stopped reading overall. I didn't care anymore. And it's not because of this series, like this specific story, it's just that the overall story just, it didn't help.
Right.
What'd you think of that?
I feel like that at first I had high hopes, and then as soon as you told me that it was pretty fucking shitty, I'm like, oh, okay, so this isn't gonna go anywhere. No. But another thing that kind of like caught my attention whenever you were talking about this, it's like whenever they can have battles anywhere at any time, even though they're supposed to be a secretive team, it kind of reminded me of JoJo, but like way worse, and in Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, they'll do it anywhere, and they'll just do it in public, and then they'll fuck things up. And then they just kind of go away, It's JoJo.
Yeah, neat. I thought like, oh yeah, Silver's gonna get like his own team, and him basically coming off of his own arc, because this is his second time getting like a story that revolves around him in the Universe Saga. And his first one, really good, actually one of the better ones. And then it's like he's gonna get a second one. He's gonna have people work with him. Dude, that's gonna be cool. And it falls flatter than like 2-month-old soda.
Oh my god, that's a perfect reference.
It's just like, wow, this is what we got in comparison. Because the arc beforehand, it was Eggman, and I'll honestly say that's probably the best one. Like, this is just like, because it's just so funny. And then the one after it, I mean, I didn't read all of it, but at least it had like story significance, and it had like characters that everybody kind of like. It was the Chaotix, so that was fine. But these guys, I don't think it was off of the fact that it was like, first impression that I didn't like. Because no, I like all these characters, and I love the idea that they're a team. It makes sense, but they're such a disappointment because they're hyped up through like every issue by the end of it all. And then it's like when you really read it, it just kind of felt like, no, this didn't live up to the hype. They kind of suck at what they do.
Right. They didn't go up to their full potential.
Yeah, and ironically, when I was thinking about this, the dude that they're trying to go after, not the main one, but like his henchman, Jeffrey St. John, I remembered earlier in the series, like in the comics actually, he formed his own team, and they were way better than this. And he like got all these people out of like nowhere, characters that you again would never think that would interact whatsoever, characters that are just like comic exclusive, and they actually pull shit off. Like they're good at what they do, but it's like no, these guys they blow. I hate it.
Blow.
Like,
I fucking love that.
yeah, I was not happy. But what else do you think about this?
Well, hopefully they got their money's worth, and then this probably just fucking died down. I'm sure that there's like diehard fans that would know what this is, but like nobody would probably know what the hell this is. Like I didn't even know. Like I thought that these were fucking Rick and Morty, Danny Phantom, and just like furry looking asses. I don't know.
I'll send you like another image. Yeah, that's like that was their final battle. It looks cool. Really didn't live up to what I expected. It's kind of meh at best.
The art's good. That's something I could say about it. Knowing that they failed throughout the whole entire fucking like arc, it's a little disappointing. Well, overall, if I had to rate this out of 10, give it a 3 because of the art.
Oh, the art's the only thing that keeps them going.
Keeps it going. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. Woo! Eat your chili dogs, kids.
Maybe I'll talk about the other universe sagas. When it came to the Sonic Archie comics, the Secret Freedom Fighters, they weren't so secret. They didn't live up to the hype, and they didn't exactly grant any freedom to everybody. Maybe a little bit, but not that much. Especially seeing how, well, most of these characters pretty much get like wiped away due to lawsuit. Anyway, thank you, Ken Thandos Penders. That's cool.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, any final words before we get out of this?
Yeah. Don't read that.
That's pretty much it. Say goodbye to the people
Goodbye.
watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Have fun and everything. Goodbye.
Bye.